I signed the divorce papers like it was nothing more than paying a bill. No hesitation, no pause, no trace of the heartbreak she was hoping to see. She expected a storm. Tears, anger, desperate pleas. Promises I'd do anything to fix what was broken. But all she got was the sound of a pen scratching across the page, my signature sliding smoothly onto the dotted line, and then the papers sliding back across the table, as though we were closing some mundane transaction. My voice was steady, my smile unshaken. In that moment, she blinked before I did. Just 2 months earlier, I would have bled for her. I would have carried fire in my bare hands if it meant keeping her safe. I thought we were carved from the same stone, unbreakable. 10 years together, building a life, a house, a company from scratch, brick by brick, dollar by dollar. I poured in love, ambition, sacrifice. She poured in nothing but her needs. I gave, she took. And I kept believing it was balance. The cracks were hairline at first. Lipstick smeared faintly on nights she returned too late to explain. A new lock screen on her phone, a different passcode on her laptop. That faraway glaze in her eyes, like she was already living in another world while sitting across from me. I noticed everything, though I said nothing. I always notice. The storm truly began on a Tuesday, the kind of day you'd forget if it hadn't changed your life. Rain splattered the windows with a patient rhythm, like the world itself was warning me to listen. She had left her tablet unattended in the kitchen. That wasn't me snooping, it was her slipping. One notification slid across the screen, small, ordinary, and world-ending all at once. Can't wait till he's out of the picture tonight. Signed by Ryan. Ryan. Our company's CFO. The man who raised a glass at our wedding. The godfather of our son. My friend. Her lover. I didn't explode. I didn't break dishes or slam doors. I just stood there, letting the words burrow into my skull until they were carved in stone. No confrontation, not yet. That would have been too easy for her. Instead, I became invisible in plain sight. I stayed present, but detached. Watching, memorizing, stitching together patterns she thought I couldn't see. Late nights. Business trips that overlapped. The dinners that appeared in expense reports. Every charge, every receipt, every misused company card. It all tied back to them. 3 weeks passed before she gave me her line. We were at dinner. A glass of wine sitting untouched in front of her. Her face was calm, rehearsed, like she'd practiced it in the mirror. I don't think you're happy. Maybe it's time we went our separate ways. She believed she was in control, that she'd boxed me in. I smiled softly and told her, you're right. Let's keep it clean. She thought it was surrender. It was the opposite. That night, I drew the curtain down on my old life. I revoked her access to everything, locked her out of our company systems, stripped her of admin rights, changed every password. I split the accounts quietly, precisely, without a trace of anger. Then I made one call. Monica, a forensic accountant, a friend from years back who owed me a favor. I handed her a thick folder filled with statements, messages, receipts. I told her, find the rot. 2 days later, she came back with a report. $62,000 siphoned into a shell company. His name on the documents. Hers too. It wasn't just infidelity. It was theft. Fraud. Betrayal in every form. And still, I didn't move too soon. I let them feel safe. She grew careless with her phone. He strutted into meetings with a new kind of arrogance. I let them play their hand while I prepared mine. Then came the gala. Our company's annual celebration. Black tie, champagne, cameras, investors, the whole network gathered in one glittering room. I stood at the podium under the guise of presenting our usual year-end update. She was in front, draped in red, her war color, her illusion of triumph. Ryan beside her, jaw set with smugness. I began with business as usual. Tonight I want to speak about Trail. No reaction. I paused, let the silence stretch. This quarter, we discovered discrepancies. Missing funds. Altered reports. We traced it to 2 insiders. One from my home, one from this very boardroom. The air drained from the room. She stepped back, her face paling. Ryan's confidence shattered in an instant. I lifted a small flash drive. Everything is here. Every document. Every transfer. Every deception. Behind me, the screen lit up with evidence, emails, wire transfers, the full timeline of betrayal. Her lips moved, a whisper no one could hear. Ryan lurched forward like he could stop what was already finished. Security intercepted. I stepped down, handed the drive to our legal counsel, and gave the only words needed. Proceed with the charges. There was no shouting, no melodrama. Just a suffocating silence as every mask they'd worn crumbled in front of our world. That night, my phone lit up 27 times with her name. I didn't answer once. I sat in my living room, a glass of scotch in my hand, the weight of silence finally lighter than it had ever been. The next morning, I filed for sole custody. I handed over the financial evidence, the messages, the receipts. I cited fraud, negligence, unfit parenting. The court agreed. Since then, she's only seen our son under supervision. As for Ryan, his collapse was swift, fired, disgraced, blacklisted. Last I heard, he was pushing insurance policies. A fitting downgrade. When people ask me if I miss her, my answer is simple. No. What I miss is the version of myself who still believed, who still trusted. But he had to die for this one to live. She thought she was closing the book, that she could end us on her terms. But the pen was never hers. It was always mine. And I don't let anyone else write my ending.